Hello, and welcome to the 19th annual and first ever virtual Green Living Festival from the Missouri Botanical Garden, specifically from the Earthway Center, the sustainability division of the garden. We like to offer sustainable solutions that people can use in your everyday life, in lifestyle, purchasing decisions, where you live, where you work, where you play, where you worship, all around our community interactions. I'm Jean Ponzi from the Earthways team. It's my pleasure today to host this panel of local experts as we talk about energy efficiency and healthy homes. Ameren, Missouri is the presenting sponsor of the Green Living Festival. Ameren, thanks so much for supporting and energizing these efforts. And you can find all of the resources of the Green Living Festival at your leisure at mobot.org/greenlivingfest. In addition to live events today, after this panel, we will also have a Grow Solar St. Louis Power Hour at 4 p.m. And then a little later, a live celebration of green buildings, the Green Building Showcase from the U.S. Green Building Council Missouri Gateway Chapter. And on Thursday, June 11th, we will have live and plenty of virtual programming about naturescaping. Spire is our workshop sponsor for the festival, bringing these workshop presentations to you. Thank you, Spire. These are our panelists for today. Shelley Harmon comes to us from Ameren, Missouri. She's the manager of energy efficiency programs. From Spire, Bellman Salihovic, representative of energy efficiency programs. Jim Jordan brings the homeowner's perspective from his net zero energy house. And Mark Bluestone brings the contractor's perspective from his company, Smart House Heating and Cooling. And now I'd like to just give a moment to say hello to our panelists, Shelley Harmon, Bellman Salihovic, Jim Jordan, and Mark Bluestone. So we will begin our presentation. Shelley, I'd like to ask you to start, and if our other presenters would please mute your audio. This will give us just a moment to transition. Shelley Harmon from Ameren, Missouri. Shelley, tell us about energy efficiency and healthy homes.
Great, thank you, Jean. I just want to go over a few, if you advance to the next slide. Ameren, Missouri has a variety of energy efficiency products and services that will help customers save energy while staying comfortable in their homes. So I just want to highlight a few of those. We have the heating and cooling program that provides rebates to help customers offset that upfront cost to purchase a more efficient system, and it's easy. We have a network of participating contractors that they can contact. The contractors will help them find a efficient system that's suitable for their home. They'll install it, and then the customers will receive their rebate check. So very easy to participate in. So we have a lighting and products also available for customers. I just purchased a home this year, and I have high ceilings with a lot of lights in them, so I replaced those. And so not only am I saving energy, I'm saving on maintenance costs. These LEDs will last up to 25,000 hours. So save energy and maintenance costs by switching to LEDs. And then we also have a variety of products: heat pump water heaters, pool pumps, smart thermostats, and others on our online store and in retail. Appliance recycling. So EnergyStar.gov estimates that customers can save more than $700 a year on energy bill over 5 years just by recycling their old refrigerator. So customers can recycle it for free through our program. We'll come and pick it up outside only right now because of we want to make sure customers are safe. But customers will receive $25 and an energy savings kit with energy savings products that they can install in their home. And another program that we have in place that requires no investment for customers to participate is our peak time savings program. Jean, if you can, there you go, thank you. This program syncs to your smart thermostat, and on very hot days when the demand for energy peaks, the events are called and they're designed to pre-cool your home and lower your usage during peak periods. It helps you stay comfortable during peak times and while saving and conserving energy. So for this program, customers will receive $50 to sign up and then $25 each year for staying in the program. Information on all these programs can be found on our website at ambermissourisavings.com. So Jean, if you'll switch to the next slide, I'll talk about our online store. So our online store, we feature smart thermostats. Smart thermostat is a great energy saving technology. The smart thermostats has sensing technology that learns your patterns and optimizes your settings for you. So we have those available on our online store, and not only can you get a rebate through our program, we also stack those with manufacturer rebates whenever those are available. So there's some really good deals on smart thermostats on our online store. We have lighting, so we have specialty lighting as well. So those are instant discounts. And then we have a variety of connected home products through our online store as well. So again, it's easy to participate. You go online, the process is easy, and you get the instant discount as you check out. So take a look at that. We also have smart strips. This is another great device. So this is best suited when you have clusters of technology such as gaming systems, TVs, and things like that. And it will make sure you're not using that, what we call phantom power. So take a look at our online store and check out the deals that we have available on smart energy saving technology. So if you advance to the next slide, this is a program that I'm really excited about. We just rolled that out. We rolled this out recently. And this program offers a comprehensive list of energy savings tips that customers can participate in that requires little or no investment. So customers can log in and they can choose which energy savings tips are suitable for them. And as they click through there and they decide on which ones are suitable, it offers up the why and the how. So it talks about how much energy you can save by taking action on these things. And you can work through those. So you can save the ones that maybe you can't do right now, but you're thinking about. You can save those in your personal profile. You can mark the ones that are completed, that are kind of the easy wins. And then the ones that aren't suitable for your household or your situation, you can decline those. And then more energy savings tips will be offered up to you. So the nice thing about this and the fun thing is you can earn points for taking action on these energy savings tips. And as you do that, the more points you earn, you can redeem those for gift cards up to $5, $10, and $25. Walmart gift cards, or even you can buy products on our online store. But again, this offers the why and the how and offers a personalized approach. And as you log in, when you participate in our programs, it will show you the status and the estimated savings that you achieve by taking action on these programs. And again, all of our program information can be found on ambermissourisavings.com. So take a look at that. We're very interested in hearing your feedback. We're getting great feedback from customers that have participated. Over 90% of the customers found these tips useful. So we offer seasonal tips and tips that are relevant to customers that, again, require little or no investment to participate. So try it out. It's a fun way to save energy.
Thank you very much, Shelley Harmon from Ameren. We'll be talking some questions about the rewards program that we'll get to in the Q&A section. Once again, if you're joining us live, please type your questions into Q&A in this Zoom webinar function, and we will have time for questions after our panelists. Next, I would like to call on Belman Salihovic from Spire Energy. Belman, if you would unmute, please, and join us.
Thank you, Jane.
And we'll hear about gas efficiency.
Yeah, so as you said, thank you again. My name is Belman. I'm with Spire, obviously a natural gas company in the area. Always like to start with our mission statement because I think it's very important. It is to answer every challenge, advance every community, and enrich every life through the strength of our energy. And Gene, if we could just advance to the next slide, I'd like to get into some facts about natural gas that not a lot of people are aware of. It is America's most abundant, affordable fuel. We use it for cooking, for heating, for water heating, as well as for our CNG vehicles. Natural gas does provide quality, comfort, and convenience to 177 million Americans. And on an average, consumers who use natural gas, they save around $870 in energy bills each year compared to homeowners who use electricity. Our nation has enough natural gas to meet our growing energy needs for the next 100 years. And it is the most efficient fuel. The direct use of natural gas achieves 92% efficiency, which is far better than any other energy source out there. And not to go through all of the facts on there, at the end of my PowerPoint, there is a slide and a website about the greatest story that's never been told. And it is natural gas facts that I definitely encourage everyone to go and visit. And Gene, if you can just advance, I'd like to get into our rebates. These are residential rebates. And as we know, like I stated earlier, gas is safe, reliable, comfort, energy savings are out there. And regardless if you're buying a new home, remodeling, or just simply wanting to save on your energy bill, we do have residential rebates to make it easier to save on your upgrades that you're looking to make. Most common rebates that we actually offer for residential customers are water heating rebates, programmable smart thermostats. Just like with Ameren, you can double dip on those programmable thermostats and smart thermostats. We advise all our customers to do so to get those savings. If you're getting them from us, make sure you check out Ameren as well, because you can get more rebates that way. Furnace rebates, water heating rebates, up to $450, which you're really looking at when it comes to rebates, as well as the combined space and water heating rebates. All the information is available via our natural gas contractor network, and that can be found on our website. If you go to spireenergy.com/rebates-offers, you can actually find all of our rebates on there. You can find our contractors on there as well that can do quality work for you in your home. And another thing that I actually didn't include on the slide that we offer through our contractors is Spire financing. If you're looking to finance your equipment, our contractors can walk you through that process and guide you through your on-bill financing. And if you can advance, Gene, to the next slide, I'd like to get in our commercial industrial rebate program overview. So this is for your kitchens, restaurants, hospitals, schools. We do have over 30 standard rebates. And standard rebates are your pre-qualified list of equipment and services with fixed rebate amounts. That could be anything from boiler replacements to boiler tune-ups, steam traps, cooking equipment as well, as long as Energy Star rated. We can get you rebates on that. And then custom rebates is any project that could potentially save energy. And like I said, this is definitely on the commercial spectrum. Any project can save energy. So you're looking at building management systems, building shell improvements, as much as even insulation of your roof, window replacements. That can potentially qualify for a custom rebates. And these projects do need to get pre-approved prior to actually getting them done. And the best way that that we always advise our customers is commercial customers. If you are looking to do something, you're not sure where to start, energy audit is probably one of the best ways to figure that out. You can get a rebate up to 75% of the audit cost, and a contractor could come out to you and go over the audit and let you know what energy efficient changes you can make to make your property more efficient. And I'm sure Mark will probably mention some of that later on. And all the information, like I said earlier, is also available on our website at spireenergy.com/commercial rebates or /residential rebates, depending what spectrum you're working in and what you're looking for. And Gina, I believe I kept this nice, short, and simple so we can get some questions at the end. And I did provide my contact information here on the slide with the link for the greatest story never told.
Thanks, Bellman Salihovic from Spire Energy. And I did jot down some questions while you were talking there, so look forward to the opportunity for some dialogue. Next up, Jim Jordan. Would you unmute, please, and tell us about the home that you have developed and lived in for over 16 years and why you have invested in a net zero energy house. Welcome, Jim Jordan.
Thank you, Jean. Actually, a correction. The home isn't net zero, what I'm looking at, and that's Dan's home, what you videotaped. I'm shooting for an 85% net carbon neutral home, also including transportation. So I'll get into that in a minute. So here we have myself on the left. I'm an environmental and STEM educator and also a naturalist. I like to spend a lot of time outside. We built our house primarily to meet the needs of our son, who is multiply disabled, and hence that also makes it an aging in place home. So I don't have to worry as I age about having to move out since there's no barriers. But we also get out into the community and take part in a lot of great things that are offered in St. Louis. Here we're at a French ball at the courthouse in January in order to be part of the St. Louis scene. Okay, next slide. So I like to think of things as lifestyles and then the actions that we can take. So this has been a journey over 16 years and incorporating many things. So I try to use a systems approach and based on evidence-based science as much as possible. Also knowing, as Elder Leopold eloquently expressed about the land, there's many interconnections. And depending on our home, our abode, our lifestyle, our work, our form of transportation, we can choose how much to jump in, how little. It can be very expensive as adopting some technologies, or you don't even have to spend anything. You can just make choices that reduce energy consumption and save resources. So what are our priorities? Our priorities kind of guide not only our work life, but our free time, the way we indulge in food and recreation and other things. And that really has a big impact as far as the choices that we look at. Everybody knows that our society is convenient oriented. You can just go to a store and see how they've set everything up for one-stop eating or purchasing, but you have to dig a little deeper to find sustainability oriented. And that's what I've tried to do. So what I'm going to go through are actually 3 conservation behaviors or choices, technological advances that I've incorporated, lifestyle that kind of has been built into the house and my daily choices. And then we also have many choices that can reduce the amount of energy or resources or take up more. And I felt that I have made a lot of choices and not compromised my lifestyle at all. And people know about elimination or reduction. Do you give up meat, one meatless meal? How much plastic do you use? Okay, next slide. So technological advances. These are just a couple that I incorporated in recent years. There are many more, but I had to replace the HVAC system and I went with a heat pump. So thinking about it from a systems approach, I also have an EPA approved wood burning stove. So I don't have to worry about how low the temperature gets and it won't kick on the electric resistors. But the installer told me with this heat pump, even though I installed a high efficiency AC unit 16 years ago, my electric cost to cool the house will be half of what it was. I also took advantage of Ameren's rebate for a tankless water, heat pump water heater to replace the tankless water heater. I love the tankless water heater. However, everybody needs to know how to use it. I had many care providers who would turn on the water, turn on basically a huge gas furnace, turn off the water, never get any hot water, so they just burned up a whole bunch of natural gas for nothing. But the other advantage of this that you can't see in the picture is my wine is very close by, so it keeps wine cool in the summer in the basement. I went with an induction range top convection convection oven and a convection microwave. This has a precision of natural gas for cooking, also for aging in place. I don't have to worry about a hot surface to burn myself on. And the oven being a convection oven is much more efficient. And then the last thing I'll point out is my octopus on the lower right, an herb and energy recovery ventilator system. Since my house is so airtight, this takes outside air, filters it, and is a heat exchanger, and then exhausts indoor air, so I don't have to worry about off-gassing or indoor air pollutants. Okay, next one. So our lifestyle, I choose to try to also grow a lot of food. Yesterday I picked a peck of peas from my garden. Again, the house is accessible. This shows a ramp up to the front, so aging in place. I choose to have my beliefs and values coming from evidence-based science, and that guides a lot of the decisions I make, the dispositions, the actions I take. And then we look at how does this all fit into what are our priorities? How do we spend our recreational time, our daily time? So we can choose overall lifestyle that can have a lighter footprint on our planet if we so want. Okay, next one. We also can make choices. So I never use a clothes dryer. I use the sun. I can hang up my clothes in the basement. That saves a ton of energy and is more gentle on the clothes. I decided because of solar and trying to get to net carbon neutral that I disconnected natural gas this year. And as you'll see, it ended up saving me $300 a year just from the service fees. I currently have 13 panels. It's been a delay with COVID-19, but I'm going to get 5 more panels installed later this month, which will take me up to 85% energy savings. A lot of it is because I have a very airtight, efficient house. And my electric leaf, also Ameren gave me a $10,000 rebate. Thank you, Ameren, is 90% of my transportation use. So you can make choices on what you do that can be very simple and easy. Maybe you're investing a little bit more time, but it can have a huge impact on the amount of resources you use. Okay, next one. So just very quickly with solar, when we became grid tied, it cut the cost of solar in half because the grid serves as a battery source. So all the solar electricity I generate goes into my household appliances first. Excess goes out into the grid. If I need energy from the grid, it comes in and the net meter measures it, and at the end of the month does a simple calculation. If I generate more electricity than I use that month, I don't get as much back, but Ameren has to pay for the grid, has to pay for my backup storage system. So that's a fair trade. Okay, next one. So I'm always asked about economics. Is going renewable energy and other choices, am I going to save money? How much will I cost? So here I have 2 examples. So because of my concern with climate change and wanting to do away with any kind of fossil fuels in my household, as I mentioned, I was looking at my natural gas bill, and approximately $30 a month is for infrastructure and taxes. 5 months a year, I was using less than $2 in natural gas. So 5 months a year, I used $10, but was paying $150 just for the connection fee. So by disconnecting, I'm saving money that I can put into the technology that cost a little bit more. But over the long run, that's $300 a year by going to a single a utility source. I went with solar panels about 9 years ago, and at that time it cost $6 a watt to install. I hear a lot from people, well, they've gotten rid of incentives, so it isn't economical, but today it's $250 a watt to install. So it is very economical, even though the incentives and rebates have decreased, but there's a lot out there. And the other interesting thing is every year on an average, electricity and other utilities go up a certain percentage to pay for the extraction and the infrastructure. So by putting in solar panels, you lock in the price of that electricity for the next 20 years that's generated. You don't increase that. So I look at it that solar panel installation is the best investment I've ever made in my life. It saved me an incredible amount of money, and I hope that I'm having an impact on climate change for a better lifestyle for our future generations. Mark's going to go into this, but again, you want to look at tightening up your home, increasing energy efficiency before you invest in renewables. Okay, next one. And I'll just look at the bottom. Again, I try to think things through from a system standpoint. If a little knowledge is dangerous, I'm never going to be a person to have so much as to get out of trouble. So thank you and look forward to some questions.
Thank you very much, Jim Jordan. And you got a lot more than a little, I would say, in the knowledge department. Fourth and final panelist in this presentation portion of our Energy and Healthy Homes Green Living Festival panel is Mark Bluestone. He is the president of Smart House Heating and Cooling. And Mark, if you'd unmute and come on in here, and you are bringing the perspective of the contractor and the kinds of services that people can take advantage to maximize incentives and also incorporate these kinds of innovations. Mark?
Absolutely. Well, good afternoon, everybody. Jim, that was really great. Congratulations for all you've accomplished at your house. So what I'd like to talk today about is how to make your home more efficient. Some of it is stuff Smart House is involved in. Some of it is very much able to be accomplished by homeowners over time. All of it really is where the rubber meets the road for energy efficiency. So let's dive in. But when I think of saving money in a house on energy, normally I think it's helpful to try to figure out where we're spending that money. So if you take a look at this chart, you will see that heating and cooling, by far the two largest places where we spend money, followed by water heating appliances and lighting. So it stands to reason that if we can address all of these big consuming factors, then we can chip away at the energy we use. So let's start with the lowest level consumption on this chart today for us. I'm going to skip electronics, but let's start with lighting. Gene? So in the average home, we use a lot of electric for lights, and it is extremely possible for us to save quite a bit of energy on lighting. You know, it wasn't long ago that we had to buy these curly Q compact fluorescent lights, and people didn't like the color temperatures. People didn't like that they took time to warm up. But now, you know, you can buy LED bulbs. They're everywhere. They're affordable. They can replace almost any bulb in your house. The key that I would recommend to people is to watch the color temperature. So normally, if you want that warm kind of yellowy light that you got from your old incandescent bulbs, you're looking at 2700. It's on all of the boxes, all of the packages. And don't forget the recess lights in your ceiling. Very easy to replace those with LEDs as well. And if you use these replacement kits like you see on there, you'll also make your recess lights a little more airtight, which is good too. Now let's move on to appliances. So not a lot of people will go out and just buy all new appliances because they want to save energy. But when it comes time to replace your appliances, you can use that as an opportunity to make really good choices. And the best choice always to make is Energy Star. If you look for that Energy Star label, you will have a reasonable assurance of buying one of the more energy efficient machines out there. So for dishwashers, ceiling fans, washing machines, and refrigerators, you would be shocked how much money you can save with a new Energy Star refrigerator. So please, even if it's a couple more bucks, it's going to save you for sure in the long run. Water heating, you know, things, and Jim mentioned it, behaviors are such a huge thing, right? So you definitely have the technology of what kind of water heater you use, but you also have the lifestyle ability to control how long is your shower, and you have the ability to control what type of shower head you have. There are some really great low flow shower heads out today that you cannot distinguish between one of the old just water guzzling things, right? You can also choose to wash in cold water, and you can choose to use a dishwasher, an Energy Star dishwasher, instead of washing dishes in your sink, and you will save water, which makes your water and sewer bills lower, and you can also save energy from heating the water. So it's a really good deal. Gene? Moving along to heating and cooling, those were the big two items up on the screen. So one of the things that you can do, just even with the equipment you have in your house now, is you can get annual professional maintenance of your equipment. Having the equipment serviced properly, having the refrigerant levels correct now that we're in the air conditioning season, having your filter clean, stuff like that will lower your utility bills and lead to longer equipment life. Also, very often you can head off problems. So you can also have lower repair costs, which is a good deal, and have better reliability, and not, you know, air conditioners always fail on the hottest day of the year when you can't get anybody to come out, right? So maintenance is a good thing. When it comes time to replace your system, that's where you have a real opportunity to look at more energy efficient equipment. Thanks to Ameren and thanks to Spire, you can make choices to purchase far more efficient equipment for very close to the price of the lower efficiency equipment after your rebates. So it's a really good program. Smart House, of course, does all of that. We partner with both Ameren and Spire. We submit all your rebates for you. So it's a very easy way to save a lot of money. We've got clients that are saving $900 on a new air conditioner thanks to Ameren. We have clients saving $300 on a 96% furnace thanks to Spire. You can save money on your smart controls like the one you see in the center there, or a Nest or an Ecobee. So you have the opportunity when your system does fail or when your system does get old to save up to 35% of your gas consumption depending on what your old furnace is with a new one, and air conditioners that can easily use half of what your old air conditioner uses if you make the right choices and good decisions. Talking about the building shell briefly, the thing to know is that heating and cooling equipment is part of the equation for how to keep your house comfortable, but the other part is that you have to have a building shell that helps your heating and cooling equipment. And by that I mean two things. I mean well insulated, but I also mean tight. So Jim mentioned that his house is very well sealed. Something that's new to many people is not only do we have to have our houses insulated, but we have to go after air leaks. In the most basic sense, air tends to leak into houses at the bottom, in the basement, around the band joists of the basement, and it tends to leak out the top of the house. So anything that we can do to understand where that leakage occurs and then go after fixing it is a great thing. It can be done professionally, and some stuff, a lot of stuff really, can be done by a homeowner. So let's look at some of the common leak areas. So first, goal is, if you see that pink line on the screen, that's the area where, in this particular house, the person is living. So the goal is to have a continuous barrier around the side of the house with no opportunities for leakage. Gene? Common places for leaks include all of the things you see here. So ducts, where do ducts leak? Ducts leak especially into homes where there's ductwork in the attic. So if you live in a house where the top floor of your house has ducts in the ceiling, very big possibility you have ducts in the attic. If there's leakage, if the ducts are not well sealed, there's a very easy opportunity for your cool air or your warm air to leak out of the ducts straight into the attic, and that's a big waste. plumbing penetrations where your hose spigot, for example, comes into the house, windows not being well sealed, especially around the perimeters of the windows. For homes, chase, not a lot of people know what a chase is, but there's pipes that run up through your house, and many have pipes running from the basement up into the attic, to the point where if you go in the attic with a golf ball, you could drop it down a chase and hear it bounce off the floor of the basement. That's bad. You don't want that. So getting all that sealed up to keep the air in the house is great. Recessed lights on the ceiling, sill plates or band joists around the basement, any opportunities where air can vent in or out. And I think I mentioned, but recessed lights in the ceiling of the house, whole house attic fans in the ceiling of the house, light fixtures in the ceiling of the top floor of the house, all big opportunities for leakage. So you want to take care of that. You can find a lot of those leaks yourself, or, Gene? One of the things that a lot of people like to do is to consider getting an energy audit for their house. So an energy audit is a thorough review of a home by a professional. Smart House is a Missouri certified energy auditing company. And the device you're looking at, that kind of crazy red thing in the door, that's called a blower door. So what we do with that is we depressurize the house, and then almost as if by magic, by blowing air out of the house, we're inducing air to leak into the house. And with some theatrical smoke and thermal cameras and other devices, we can find and prioritize where those leaks are and how to fix them. And that's good information that you can use to fix your own leaks in the places where you can, or you can engage companies to do that for you. The key benefit to an energy audit is that while you do pay a few $100s for the energy audit, the benefit allows you is that you know exactly where your issues are, exactly where your opportunities are, and then you can fix these issues much less expensively than if you had to go after fixing the whole house, which would include a lot of area where it's not broke. So energy audits give good guidance for shell improvements. And that is, I believe, what I have for you today. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Mark Bluestone from Smart House. And now we have an opportunity for questions from our attendees. Here we are again with our speaker view, and let me take a look at what we've got coming in on Q&A. Well, I'm giving that a look. I want to ask the utilities, Ameren and Spire, how do you determine what kinds of things you offer incentives for, that you offer rebates for? And what's a really good way for people to keep up with the changes in those? Because I know they do change periodically. So Shelley and Billman, if you would unmute, please, and like to hear that from you.
Yeah, sure, Jean, I'll go first. When we look at energy efficiency programs, we want to make sure we do what we call benefit cost tests. So the savings benefit outweigh the cost. And those are the things that we look at for the types of programs and things we incentivize. And the best way or source to keep up with the information on rebates and what the offerings we have available is to go to our website, AmeriMissouriSavings.com, where all of our information is provided on our website and the steps it takes to receive rebates or instant discounts on those energy saving technologies.
And just to add on to that, I mean, we look at the same thing. It's all about the benefit cost, and on the website as well, spireenergy.com. All the information is on there, on different rebates and our programs year round, so it just keeps kind of rolling around. We haven't made any changes in quite a long time, so we're looking at our rebates being the same for years to come.
And we're looking at a variety of ways of using energy and using how energy is produced, from more conventional, energy sources that we've been relying on a long time, to renewable energy sources like Jim, you have incorporated that into your home. So say a little bit again, this is a question for the utilities. People have concerns about consumption of fossil fuels, about extraction of fossil fuels, processes like fracking. And how are your companies, how are your utilities working to diversify and move into hopefully ever cleaner energy sources?
So I'll answer this. So there is renewable natural gas out there, and there's a lot of opportunity for it, and especially in North America. I mean, a lot of companies are looking into it, Spire being one of them. Natural gas could be produced from the organic waste products found in landfills, treatment plants, dairies, farms. So it's definitely something that we're looking into, but it definitely is possible, and there's just a lot of opportunity there to go more green with renewable.
Shelley?
Yeah, Ameren, Missouri continually looks at the technology. It's ever changing. We strive for a diverse portfolio of energy supply sources, renewable supply sources. We have community solar as one, and we just did another expansion. We had one at Lambert Airport, and then we just announced another expansion for community solar. So we always look at our portfolio of sources and strive to do a good, diverse mix of generation.
And we were really pleased to be able to share in the ta-da of the announcement of that expansion of community solar. An interview with Bill Davis from Ameren went live today on the Green Living Festival site about that announcement and about how you are open for subscriptions now. This is a question for you, Jim Jordan. What platforms or methods are you using to determine your energy footprint, both in your home and your property and outside with purchases and things?
Right. So a lot of that is, informal, if you will, or intuitive. I do monitor my utility bills. So when I went to the heat pump, I obviously had an increase in electric, but even in our cold, dreary winters, without adding the other panels, I think I was below $60 in electric costs for both driving and heating during the month of January or February. So I look at being able to reduce this. Obviously, I'm not going to be able to completely grow all of my foods. This is just something that feeds my soul, but also good, nutritious food. As far as other purchases, I guess we could joke around and say I'm a guy and I like boy toys to some extent, but I try to be conscious of that. And most of my recreation is involved in nature, which is a lower impact. But I've participated in other programs in the past in which over a week or a month I've measured it. And I found those tools really aren't very helpful for me because I do military showers. And what it tells you is you take a shower and it's X amount of water. Well, I don't use but 1/10 or 1/15 of a regular shower, but there's no way to plug in my lifestyle to those tools. So again, it's something that I look at individually.
And another quick question for you, Jim. Would you explain the function of the octopus?
Yeah, so because the house is so airtight, and I did have an energy audit and I tightened up a lot of stuff, you can have off-gassing in your house from furniture, from appliances, other things that you can have a certain level of air pollutants built up. And in the past, you didn't have to worry about that because you always had a constant air exchange, which also brought in heat and humidity in the summer or cold air in the winter. So the ERV takes outside air and it puts it through a filter, and then it's passing by the inside air to exchange the heat in the summer or the coolness in the winter, so that when it goes into the house, it's almost the same temperature of the house temperature. And then the inside air then goes out, so you have a constant replenishment of air from the outside, so it helps reduce those indoor air pollutants.
Thanks. Panelists, you can keep your audio unmuted at this point, and you don't have to return to mute. Mark, here's a question for you. Do you have cost-efficient tips for sealing a home? For example, the person who's asking this question owns a condo with drafty doors and windows, doesn't necessarily have the funds to replace them all.
Well, it depends on each individual home. So for a condo, it depends on the windows. If these are windows that are traditionally installed windows that are within a wood molding, and the molding is possible to be removed, generally there's a lot of air leaks from between where the window unit and the studs that frame it are. So that's a little more in-depth type of thing. But for a surface kind of benefit, caulking around the window moldings is helpful. If the condo's door opens to the outside rather than a hallway, then certainly weather stripping, a sweep under the door, all useful in terms of air sealing. You know, again, see if there's recessed lights, depending on where in the building this condo is and what the space above their ceiling is, might be helpful to install LED replacement lights that have a gasket on them and will provide a tighter seal. Those can be all useful things. And, you know, of course, for condos, again, depending on the building and how it provides its heating and cooling, you've got opportunities to replace heating and cooling equipment. One of the things that's interesting is that when you have a lower efficiency furnace, you have to have either leakage from the outside, or you have to have built-in opportunity to bring outdoor air in for combustion air. And that inherently creates a wasteful situation. When you go to a higher efficiency furnace, it's a sealed combustion system that the furnace brings in its own air on the outside and then exhausts those flue gases directly to the outside. So it doesn't induce leakage, and it allows a house to be functionally more tight than with a lower efficiency furnace.
This is the kind of conversation I like to have about recycling when we start talking about the melt flow index of plastic when you talk about flue gas efficiency. Another quick question for you, Shelley Harmon. Would you say a little bit more about the power strips? They were part of the, I think, in the Ameren online store. What do you do with those?
So those are best suited, as I said, in clusters where you have TV, gaming systems, and things like that. There's certain things that you want always on, and there's certain things that you don't. So you can plug all your devices into that strip and section it off such that the technologies that you need always on are always on, and the other, it will shut those other devices off just by the flip of the switch. So, and then that's where you save money, because the device will still be plugged in and still be drawing energy unless you have this advanced strip.
Right, that pulling the plug on phantom power, any device that has a clock, a timer, a remote control, or a cube-shaped plug is always drawing the juice, even if there's nothing using it. And and I always like to emphasize, put the strip someplace convenient, because nobody is going to lean under the counter or under the table to switch off that strip. Make it convenient. One more quick question from our audience, and then I have a few I'd like to give to you all. Can a homeowner benefit from getting a home energy audit if they had one done, say, 15 years ago? And are there incentives that can cover that from utility or from local government sources or any other sources?
Go ahead, Jim.
So, you know, when we built our house, we designed it where it was, you know, very energy efficient to begin with. I used cellulose insulation in the attic, and over the course of 16 years that settled. So one of the things I did as a result of the home energy audit is I added more insulation up there, because that insulation over time does settle. So that was one advantage for me for going back.
So I want to ask you all about the connection between energy efficiency and health, because the title of this panel is Energy Efficient and Healthy Homes. Have at it, folks. Let's hear some about that connection, because I know it's very strong.
Well, I mean, I would just, I guess, open by saying, I mean, I'm an allergy sufferer, and I have found that my health benefits from having a house that's well sealed, where the air is well filtered. And I think that also ties in with the kind of equipment you have, and for your heating and for your cooling, and the steps you take for air sealing and insulation. I think it can start with an energy audit if you're looking to understand how your house works and understand the kinds of changes that you make. There's all kinds of opportunities to improve the indoor air quality of your house, but it all starts with being able to control the environment. Controlling the environment generally it has to do with understanding leakage, understanding how you're heating and cooling, how you're sealing your house. As Jim mentioned with his energy recovery ventilator, that's another way of keeping clean but filtered air flowing into the house. And very conveniently, I think, the health of a house and the energy of efficiency of a house can absolutely correlate.
Jim, did you want to comment on that?
Yeah, so my son is prone to respiratory issues, so I have to be really careful on that. And I have a whole attic fan. I don't use it in the springtime because of all the pollen in the air. And I'm able to put insulation up there and shut it off. But in the fall time, when I don't have those allergens, I'll open up as a way to cool the house and bring air in. So part of it is seasonality, looking at what you have, how do you keep your house clean? So if you're using fans during the hot summer months, you aren't kicking up dust. There's a lot of things that go into healthy homes. Also the products that you use for cleaning. Is that going to have some chemicals that are going to aerosol? And so the number of things you just have to think through, look at the labels, go to the Illinois Department of Natural Resources, EPA, as far as looking at household chemicals that are more benign and more healthy.
Mm-hmm. We've got a good presentation that's an expansion of our Earthway Center, Detox Your Domicile, is one of the resources from Green Living Day at this festival that includes some of that. And beyond what happens in your house, I want to pose this especially to you, Shelley, electric utilities. The utilities are responsible for monitoring air pollution and preventing air pollution from stuff like combusting fossil fuels. That's true, I'm sure, for the natural gas utilities too. Say a little bit about the connection and how your work is working to safeguard public health through minimizing those hazards.
Jean, I think energy efficiency speaks to that. That's one of the things that, it's a win-win-win-win. So it's good for the environment. That's the big thing that energy efficiency brings to our customers. It's clean. We're not producing electricity. That's the one thing we try to drive home with energy efficiency. It's the least cost resource to supply demand is by providing these incentives to encourage customers to use it's a great, it's something that is in our long-term planning to continue with this because it's a great benefit.
Bellman, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, no, I definitely love to. I mean, just kind of looking at it, state of Missouri, just looking at state of Missouri, about 80% of state of Missouri still ran on coal, which is pretty interesting fact. And, just switching from coal to natural gas to generate electricity reduces greenhouse gas emissions by at least 53%, obviously due to the higher efficiency of natural gas. And energy efficiency is all about that. Shelley kind of summed it up for both of us.
And we really are doing our best with the Green Living Festival to run the gamut of information about energy sources that come from our utilities, about the capacity to incorporate energy generation on your own home through the Grow Solar program, making investments in energy efficiency, that big picture, because there are parts of it that apply to all of us. The partnerships between companies like yours, Mark, a company that is providing services, and the utilities and the customer who is taking advantage of those. Say a little bit about how you deal with that so that you're all on the same page, so that the service provider knows what rebates are available and can be the best advisor to the customer, and the customer can keep track of that kind of stuff too.
Yeah, so I think consumers find out about these rebate programs both from us and from the utilities. Ameren and Spire both do fantastic jobs of communicating their offerings, and certainly I think contractors try to do that as well. I have the honor of sitting on an advisory panel that Ameren has for their programs, and they are very active in soliciting input from their contractor partners and trying to make their program better continuously. I will give you an example of how this rebate program works, though. We had a client actually just yesterday that they were going to replace one of their furnaces and air conditioners, and we started talking about energy efficiency. They had 3 systems in their house. They were all a similar age. Their thought was, and they requested the least expensive equipment, which also meant the lowest efficiency equipment, and it was still better than their old stuff, so they were happy with that. And we shared with them Spire's rebates for a higher efficiency furnace, and we shared with them Ameren's rebates for a higher efficiency air conditioner. We provided them with information of what the added cost of the more efficient equipment was, and we showed them what they'd be getting back from the utilities. And 3 of the lowest cost systems turned into 3 higher efficiency systems. And it worked, I think, exactly the way Ameren wants it to work and Spire wants it to work. And all of a sudden, people, instead of having 80% efficient furnaces, have 96, and instead of 13 SEER air conditioners, have 15 and 16. So they're going to save a pretty significant amount of money on these utilities. And I also always see that as a social benefit as well, because when money's tight, if you can give Ameren and Spire less money, you've all of a sudden got money to spend on your family and to take some adventures and to do some things. And I've heard that from clients. So it's really neat the way it all kind of goes together.
Well, and when you talk about equity and energy, people who are living on a variable income may be out of a job, maybe on unemployment. You know what your rent is going to be. You know what your house payment is going to be if you own your home, but you don't necessarily know what your utilities are going to be. So there's a big element of equity there in investing in energy efficiency and understanding this kind of stuff so that you don't get socked with a higher bill, especially in the kind of climate we have. And here we are coming into cooling season.
Yes,
folks, we're just about out of time. I would like, we are here. Now, last week was not, and now we are. Last words about especially energy efficiency and the connection to health. And Shelley Harmon, I'm going to ask you to start again, please.
Yeah, I just want to refer back to the tips that we provide. You talked about energy efficiency and health, just some of the simple things that we have in our program. Our energy savings tips that we provide are, cleaning your air filters, cleaning your coils on your refrigerators, all that relates. So take a look at our website, check out the tips. And again, those are no cost, low cost things that people can take advantage of.
Yeah, I got to clean my coils. It's on the to-do list, hopefully after the Green Living Festival. And Shelley, in the tips, I remember there was a little graphic of an egg timer for your shower. That makes me think of the military shower that you mentioned there, Jim Jordan, and making it fast, but don't forget, sometimes you got to recharge your personal energy too.
Yeah, but I
Jim,
like to
how about
have soap on my body the whole time. I like suds instead of it, all that stuff. Okay, I'll give an item to think about. I try to think about my grandparents and their lifestyle. And one of the things I remembered is both my grandparents had summer kitchens. So I don't bake in the oven in the summer. I have a microwave, convection microwave, which reduces heat or energy consumption and less heat out into the house. On my porch, I have a couple items that I do some of my cooking out there. And again, there's less off-gassing there. I try to think about how did my grandparents' lifestyle, hanging up clothes, growing food, and all that, being more self-sufficient. I think self-sufficiency, to whatever extent we can incorporate also can lead to a healthier home and lifestyle.
Thanks, Jim Jordan. I personally am very attached to my clothesline, but I do allow myself to run the underwear in the dryer after it dries on the clothesline so it doesn't come out feeling like
Pump
cardboard.
it up.
How about Bellman Salahovic from Spire? Your closing comments.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely say visit our website. We have tips as well, anything from cooking to heating your home, and just tips that we've covered in here today when it comes to just, let's say, drafty windows and doors. And strongly would advise anyone to go to natural gas, in fact, and just kind of read some of those facts about natural gas as well.
Mark Bluestone, Smart House, last words.
I think what I'd like to say is whenever you need to replace anything in your house, use it as an opportunity to make a good choice and do better. Whether it's a light bulb or a dishwasher or a refrigerator or a furnace or an air conditioner, use it as an opportunity to make a good choice that's going to be more energy efficient and help your budget and help your home be a more comfortable and healthy place.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Shelley Harmon from Ameren, Missouri. Jim Jordan, who is our homeowner perspective. Jim, thanks for telling us about your 85% net carbon neutral home. Mark Bluestone, contractor perspective from Smart House Heating and Cooling, and Bellman Salahovic from Spire Energy. On behalf of the Earthway Center at the Missouri Botanical Garden, please check out all of our energy exhibitor resources and programs that you can view at your leisure at mobot.org/greenlivingfest. Lots of good resources there, lots of sustainable solutions that we hope you can use. Thanks for viewing. Thanks for the green things that you do.